So you've done all the inner work, but the money hasn't come in yet, the actual dollars in the bank account. People aren't managing money to their wealth. People are managing money to their identity. And you can't create anything from lack energy. That's why we create from certainty. When you're uncertain about something, it's the equivalent of being half-ass. And none of us line up energetically with half-ass. We can't. You are source. Source does not wait, and source is certain. You know, I don't talk too much about astrology here, mainly because I don't know that much about astrology. However, I have some amazing people in my life who I would say keep me very informed with it, and even to the degree of like, where's my sign in the placement? And it's pretty incredible that we just came out of this solar eclipse in Leo portal, it being one of the biggest portals we've seen in decades. And if we really look at it, I think we've all been creating at a level of mastery somewhere in, before, and around that. And I do see that people are shifting more into, this is just who I am. And it's so wonderful and encouraging. And I mean, you know, with this podcast, I've always been willing to come on here and just be like, fuck it, I'm just going to say what I'm going to say. And yet I haven't done it in a way that I'm like, I need you to know this. I've done it in a way like, whatever's mine is yours. And I haven't always been great at it. And I've gotten more honed. And I would say this is something that I've calibrated myself into. But I think that the fact that I don't come on here with like a predetermined script and AI, like I have certain things that I feel called to depart to you or share with you or even co-create with you, because I say this all the time. This is the whole thing is a co-creation. I also, what naturally happens is the questions that you have, or even just recently I've been going through the Mastermind applications because we start our next round on September 1st. I'm looking at what you are saying and asking, because so much just gets created from me listening to you. And I love your comments. Like some of you even, you know, you direct message me on Instagram, and I know it's kind of like, you know, some people that bothers them, but I answer all of the direct messages, because how could I be this close if I didn't, you know? And I'm not saying that this is the way everybody should be. I'm saying this is a natural function of who I am. Therefore, I let it be my job. And 2026 has been all about me letting go. I made a decision in 2025 that that's what I was going to do. And boy, have I let go. But I can see now, looking back, it's kind of been in two phases. One was more of the 3D letting go, with letting go of decisions in the business. And I had someone come in who sort of helped, you know, bridge that gap for a moment so I could step back, and she, you know, stepped in for some communication that worked well. And then now, though, it has been the letting go of everything on an energetic level. And how do you let go of energy? Well, you stop needing to know what the result of energy looks like. You can't actually move energy when you've first orchestrated it. So I'll give you an example here. We had a Mastermind alumni call yesterday. I've never done this before, but I was thinking about it the other day, and it just kind of came in on a whim. And I was like, okay, the most powerful people that I could be having a conversation with right now are the people who have already gone through the Spiritual Investor Mastermind. We're getting ready to start our 11th round. So there's a lot of rounds because it's 12 weeks. And so I didn't know what I was going to do, what to expect. I just knew I was in certainty with this was what I should do, and this is a powerful call. Well, it was. As soon as people came into the room, I felt the energy, like Zoom room, I'm saying. And then they started connecting, and and then I was like, okay, this is all about them sharing. So I just said, what's happened on the other side of the mastermind? Some people, I haven't worked with them in 3 years. Anyways, it was mind blowing what has happened to people. And I'm sure in your life too, it's mind blowing what has happened to us in the last, short amount of time, really, because momentum is speeding up. I think for myself, what's important, I'm looking at what are the deep practices and containers that have really moved me. Because otherwise, it's just waves on like the top of the ocean. It's not really the ocean. The call moved me. In fact, I was already at a different level just because of the work that I've been doing recently. And I'm sure that was a match, right? I was at that level. The call moved me. But I see, even just in translating this to you, saying this out loud, what it set me up for the next mastermind, because every single one is more powerful. I love connecting with you in the applications as much as I love working with you. It's all the same thing. And that's kind of what I would invite you to take away for your own self right now, is that the foundation of what I teach in there, the SI method, is 5 parts. But you can see yourself in those parts right now. And if you want to get in the mastermind and practice those, then you can become that. It's really your game. But not seeing those parts as separate is also key. The only reason that it's a non-linear circular process. The only reason that I even say them as differently is because I'm using the language that we're all accustomed to. One of them is money management, because when you clean up the stuff that you've been putting off, that's just, you feel the freedom and the space, right? The other one is increasing your income. You increase your income in the mastermind. We have a whole week devoted to that, and you're going to be shocked at how you do it. And you're not alone. We're all doing it together. That's the thing with this mastermind. It is workshop driven. You're doing the homework. There's no homework. You're doing it all. You're doing the work in there. The third thing is investing. You are investing. Not at the very beginning of the mastermind, but close to it. As soon as you can switch your conversation. I don't want you investing from the conversations you're having now, but because of the design of the mastermind, it takes very little time for you to drop your story. We don't have to do a lot of identity work in the mastermind because we use the energy of certainty, which is actually a bypass system. And the people who join the mastermind and agree to go vertical, they're locked in. They're laser, it's on for them. And them being able to see themselves as not separate inside of all those things, because you're going to automatically say, am I better at money management? Am I better at investing? You don't need to do that anymore. Who cares? That was you yesterday. It's just expansion of money. And the fringe of the 5 are breaking the structure and money neutrality, which you guys have learned a lot about here. So it's the bringing together. That's the structure, and you work directly with me to take that structure into your world. And what I really got from the shares yesterday is because it's a frequency, your whole life changes. People talked about being, completely done with addictions. They talked about a new relationship. They talked about the synchronicity of going to a friend's house, randomly got on a flight, went to a new friend's house, and then all of a sudden they found an opportunity to go to France for 3 months and stay in someone's flat. Someone making a $500,000 in 6 months. What I'm seeing in my world is, and I think that this is something that is really being fueled by AI right now, is that it's taking so much of the grunt work out that really our journey right now is getting to be more and more human. And so what I'm seeing is I now have more time and space for the synchronicities. I've also lined my world up for this, and that's what I want for you. I want for you to line your world up so that you're not feeling the heaviness and the pressure of the money and the things that you have to do and the job and all of that, because never has there been a better time for you to be out here and free. And something that I saw in the applications, what I think would be helpful to you, is that you're not alone in that there are so many people out there who feel like they have done the inner work. They've done the fucking retreats. They've done the personal transformation. They've done the money mindset. They can even make money. A lot of you have had successful careers. That's not the issue. It's that money and wealth still hasn't been an effortless space in your life. So you've done all the inner work, but the money hasn't come in yet, the actual dollars in the bank account. And so for that, what I would say is most people are not managing their money to wealth. And you could even swap that with what they truly want, because wealth is freedom. What most people are doing is they are managing money to their identity. So people aren't managing money to their wealth. People are managing money to their identity. That's one thing. The other thing that people are doing is they concentrate so much on earning that there is very little of their own precious energetic currency that goes to receiving, which is a big problem with a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of people who are creative and driven. They get, myself included, you get a high off of, let me create this sculpture or this artwork, or, I don't do those things. I create content and conversations, but you know what I mean? You get that. And then you're like, I'm good. Well, no, that's not true. Giving and receiving is the same energy. And if it's off, then the things in your life are going to be off too. And so the big thing there's two things. Number one, people are still operating under the illusion that income equals wealth when that's not true. So earning an income, that's its own thing. As I said, that's a whole part. That's one part of the 5 parts we talk about in the SI method is income. Because you increasing your income is wind in the sail. That's momentum. That for sure you will do. It is not getting hung up on the way that looks and just being in the experience of creating more income. Hopefully this is making sense. That allows that energy to not be so spent with this trading time and effort and productivity and effectiveness and blah, right? We are highly fucking effective when we are awake. That's what I've seen. So this receiving, the big thing with receiving is you must get outside of time, because you have inside the 3D determined it's not just the amount that you're going to receive, because that's a bit blind to you. It's blind to you that your mind says one thing and your body says a different. So we'll just forget that for a moment. What could be clear to you and is a place that you could start is you have agreed that you'll receive it in a certain amount of time. And so that's the same thing as you waiting. And you can't create anything from lack energy. That's why we create from certainty. Be in certainty on whatever you're certain about and get 100% behind that. When you're uncertain about something, it's the equivalent of being half-ass. And none of us line up energetically with half-ass. We can't. It's not that it just gives us the ick. It's that we're like, no, you can't create from that. Like, you want to create with someone, you're sitting down, you are all in and you're doing it, and then you go away and then you go do something else. And then you get into certainty and you go do something else. It's a powerful energy. And you do sometimes want to be in uncertainty about certain things because you want to give that space to see what comes in. But you're just not certain about it yet. And so when you are calibrating your way into certainty, you're still certain about certain things. This is something we go deeper in the mastermind as well. Something else that I saw in reading through the applications was that I've seen in the past that people feel like they don't know enough when it comes to investing. And I think that that is still true to a certain degree, and it keeps people on the sidelines. And the market has been doing great for years, and the market is still continuing to do great. In fact, the jobs report came out recently. Great. The inflation report came out, and it's like we're going to be back down to actually what the Fed target inflation, what they want the target inflation to be, probably sooner than later, which has now lowered the probability that interest rates are going to rise. So basically what the inflation report showed, because it breaks it down through all categories, is airfare is still up by 25%. Insurance is still up. Fruits and vegetables are still up 5%. Gas is still up. Other than that, things have come down. People are still spending. AI is still moving the tech market, although we did have a call inside of the SI Club, which is that's the monthly membership that we have where you get stocks to research, and we talk about stocks and investing, and we also go through the SI method. But that we had a call in there earlier just talking about which sectors are doing better and where would you be moving money right now, because it's all about positioning. The whole thing's about positioning. You just always be in the game and always be looking at what's coming up, and always be seeing that it's not actually that difficult either, right? Oh, that was one of the shares in the mastermind. This woman who she said, well, there was two shares. One of them, she's made a lot of money. She had a lot of money come into the mastermind, and she's made a lot more. And she's like, but the difference is now, no matter what side of the equation the money's on, up, down, whatever, I'm always expanding. I'm always in it now. So her energy is moving the portfolio, because money is just energy. It's the energy that you put into it, though. That's the key. Money is just nothing. It's a container. That's why money neutrality works, because when you're in money neutrality and you're matching that container of money, then what happens is you're a magnet or an invitation for everything to step in. So going back to this, when people said I'm not enough, or I don't know enough for investing, while that might be true, that is available to you. First of all, there's infinite knowledge out there right now that can get you over that. What I found interesting, though, is that people were saying they don't feel like they're good enough. And so what I would say to that is, how the hell do you know? Like, there is a certain kind of us keeping ourselves in check with, well, how are you going to know? Like, the whole thing comes down to, like, all of this is the simplest equation in the whole world. It's attention, and then what comes behind attention is your energy, and then what comes behind energy is your experience. You must experience it to become the self-expression of it, and then without being in judgment of it or needing validation or all these people to pat you on the back, yourself included, your ego included, you get to do it all over again. I mean, Abraham Hicks wrote a book about this, a zillion years ago. Ask and you receive, something along those titles, where basically it was the steps, and the last step was repeat. We are cycles, I just started this with the whole, lunar cycle, the solar eclipse that we're in Leo right now, all of these things monthly, all of these things that the tides coming in and out, all of that is something that is allowing us to be and find our own rhythm. But it's what are we putting inside of that container? So I have created and created and created. I didn't realize that this was such a powerful time. I've been honestly, I've been in a deep sense of creation for 3 weeks now. About 3.5. And I stepped through an eye of a needle. And I've done this before, but you can tell when it's different, you know? Something else that they shared was that someone shared that they joined the mastermind originally. This woman joined about a year ago. She said that she had to take money out of her investing account to join, and she went on the payment plan, and she felt bad about that. And actually, she was at the beginning of the mastermind. We all kind of laughed about this because I was like, "Yeah, you were really having a tough time," and she's like, "No, I was being very challenging, in the beginning of the mastermind, which is fine. It actually, the co-creation of the whole thing helps us all, right?" But what she said is, I didn't share with you that I didn't share this with you before, but she said within that mastermind, I invested, and the investments actually returned back the same amount that I had invested in the mastermind. And so from that, because it's about the amount and it's not, from that, she got her own validation. And from that, she was able to create and create and create. And one of the things that she said is that she'd been in a long-term marriage, and she realized that she was staying in it because she'd been in it so long. Like, I've spent all this time. I don't want to leave now. And she's like, once I got outside of time, like, I found my own power in that. And so what I've found with my life is that when I am in the space of really being in love, and this is in love with life, this is in love in my relationship, this is in love with my horses, in love with the grass and the trees outside, when I find myself in that space, I am also in the same moment receiving that love. And so there is no time. I don't have to wait for someone to say something for me to feel that back to me. And that has been a game changer, because when I was in that Mastermind alumni call, I was in love. And from that space of being in love, I was moving the energy, not from a space of orchestrating it. Like, oh, this person wants to talk. What are they going to say? What are they going to say? No. And I would add on top a tiny bit if I felt like that, or if I felt like the energy of the room would benefit. And then that's done. That's when life is effortless. And because I have learned to apply this everywhere, you have taught me this as well, because we've been in this co-creation. And this podcast now being in the top 2% in the world, and having the listeners and having the messages and having the people, sometimes we even get to work with you inside the Spiritual Investor. Sometimes, I get to see a comment from you on social media. Like, I want to say thank you to you. Thank you. If nothing else happens from this moment forward, that's okay too. Because I am still saying thank you from the bottom of my heart for connecting with me and for sharing with me the most valuable currency that you absolutely have. And that is your energy. There's nothing more precious than your energy. And that's what's separating us in the world and bringing us back together, is our own consciousness. Our journey to our consciousness, which at first feels like separation, is actually bringing us completely back to one. And in that space of oneness, you feel ease with money. You feel safety of money. You feel protected with money. Because in that space, money is no different than you. Money, your income and you and money are all the same thing. And so the biggest thing that you can do in terms of moving yourself forward is to refuse to wait. Because waiting is like energy. You are source. Source does not wait, and source is certain. Readiness is not a prerequisite for you to do the next thing that you want to do. It's definitely not a prerequisite for the mastermind or anything that any container that I have. Any conversation or connection starts from you. And that's because I take the responsibility over here to get myself out of the way so that I can feel you with energy. Because I've done that first. That's why this all works this way, that it's the inner journey. Because I've done that first, you could be in the space of me and what I provide. And very little even needs to be done with language. That's what's so miraculous about that, this whole thing. It's really, you're creating your world on what you've decided. And you decide based on what you're certain on. I have decided, just to give you a little bit of what am I creating over here? I have decided that I am building an in-person spiritual investor retreat center. I decided that a while ago, but I didn't understand it in the language. 7-8 years ago, it was going to be a sanctuary for horses. Then it turned into be a sanctuary for me. Then it turned into be beautiful land. Then it turned into be different people where people came and they kept just commenting on the energy. And then now it's turned out to be, it's a function of my desire to be with people, human to human. And so I'm certain about that. Am I certain what it's going to look like? No, but I don't need to be. Am I certain even where it's going to be? I think so, but I'm open to possibility. Am I certain when it's going to happen? I have a feeling. Am I certain it's going to be magnificent? Hell yes. And that's what I'm creating on. And I am so excited and having fun creating worlds that work for other people, whether it's a container, whether it's a conversation, even in my relationship. I'm so connected to creating worlds that work for other people that inside of that, because I'm doing it for love, the universe creates the world for me too. And that's the next level for all of us. Wherever I go, you go, if you choose we're in the same frequency. And you don't get to choose your frequency, you calibrate into it. But all the people around us are shifting our frequency. And so choose what you want that to be. And thank you for being here. I'm so grateful. I'll see you on the next episode. The Spiritual Investor Mastermind just opened for enrollment, and I'm going to take a very brief amount of time here to talk to you about it because it is your final time to join this year. People have asked me what is the difference in the podcast and the mastermind, and I would say that it is a grounding of these concepts in a way that when you're able to do the money practices in real time with me and you're able to invest based on my personal stock list and then learning how you can pick your own stocks, you're also learning about the market and how you can read between the lines and what is going to be the impact of AI coming up, because there's nothing scary out there, but what is happening out there is momentum is high. Things are happening fast, and wealth is all about positioning. You know that from listening to this podcast. And the thing that I would say that eludes people the most, but you get to solve in the mastermind, is how to move money from frequency into your bank account. And so all of that coming together, in addition to you won't recognize yourself after. really, really sets one of my favorite places to be. I mean, the podcast and the mastermind, those are my homes. And I keep it intentionally small because it's a powerful group. It will fill up, and I want to see you in there. So we've put a link to apply in the show notes. You can get the early bird pricing. I would definitely not wait, so you can get on board with that. And get ready. Buckle your seatbelt, because we've had people take this multiple rounds, and it has been life-changing. I'll see you soon.